Hi, my name is Diana Paul. I'm a wife, mother of 4, grandmother of 7, and I want to share some of my cooking secrets with you. This is how to make an awesome pig picking cake. So yesterday I told you that I was going to make a pig picking cake, and I also said that a lot of the issues that people have with the pig picking cake is that they can't keep the icing on the cake. Has a tendency after it sits for a little while, the icing starts to come off. So I want to show you what I do differently. I've never had an issue with that, and if you follow these steps, you will not either. So a pig picking cake has nothing to do with a pig. For those of you that may be watching this from another part of the world, it is just I think a cake that in the South we have a lot of pig pickings, and I think a lot of people carried this cake to pig pickings and it got the name pig picking cake, but I could be wrong, but I think that's how it got its name. So a pig picking cake, I'm going to read to you the recipe. It's 1 box of yellow cake mix, a half a cup of oil, 4 eggs, 11-ounce can of mandarin oranges, the juice included, and when I make it, it becomes 2 layers. The frosting consists of 8 ounces of Cool Whip, 1 small instant package of vanilla pudding, and 1 large can of crushed pineapple, drained. I'm going to show you how to do this, and if you follow these directions, you will never go wrong. So most cakes, you would see that you would have the cake mix and all of those things out here, and that's what you would start with first, but that's not how I do it. I start with the icing first, and here's why. I'm going to take this crushed pineapple and I am going to drain it. That is a critical point of this. I'm going to drain it. So what I do, I put it in a colander and I drain it. Okay, well, that's simple enough, right? Okay, but I do more than that. I just washed my hands. Okay, I'll wash them again. I'm gonna wash my hands real fast. Okay, so I've just washed my hands. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to press this down until I get all of the juice out. I think I've accomplished it. All of the juice is out of the crushed pineapple. Just to show you how much juice is in a can of crushed pineapple, I'm going to measure it. So we have 1 1/3 cups of juice. You have to get rid of that. So we've done that. Now, here's what you do next. You take the pineapple and you place it in a bowl, and I need a spoon. So you place the pineapple, the crushed pineapple, in a bowl. Simple as that. And then you open up your package of vanilla pudding mix. You put it on top of your pineapple. Okay? And you blend it all together. You just stir it until it is well blended. Now, after I get this well blended, I am going to place it in the refrigerator. Also, another critical factor in making the frosting is that the Cool Whip has to thaw in the refrigerator. You bring it from the grocery store. If you can't make the cake right away, put it in the freezer. But if you can make the cake right away, put it in the refrigerator. Let it thaw on its own. And before, I've been in a hurry, and not with this recipe, but with others that required Cool Whip. And I would try to increase the thawing time by putting it out at room temperature. That is a no-no. It'll cause it to just completely fade away. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. I'm going to get my stuff prepared to make the cake, and then when the cake is in the oven cooking, I will take this out because it's going to have it chilled, and then I'm going to fold in the Cool Whip. And I promise you that if you'll do this step first, it will make all the difference in the world when you start to frost the cake. Okay, I'm going to go over the batter directions or recipe with you one more time. It's 1 box of yellow cake mix. To that you add oil, mandarin oranges, and 4 eggs. So this is what I do first. Sometimes with the mandarin oranges, they may have seeds in them. Doesn't happen all the time, but I have seen that before. So I take them and I pour them in the bowl. Just look at them carefully to make sure there are no seeds, and there aren't, so that's great. The next thing that I am going to do is I am going to add the 4 eggs. So I'm going to put the 4 eggs in. Now I'm going to add 1/2 of a cup of oil. So I'm going to pour that in. Now I'm going to blend all this together. Okay, that's good. Now to this, I'm going to add the cake mix. Perfect. Okay, the directions usually call that you blend a cake at medium speed for about 2 minutes. That's exactly what this one said, but I just kind of eyeball that so that it has the consistency that I want it to have. So I want you to see exactly what it looks like once everything is well blended together. And this is a step I kind of learned from making some mistakes, and I didn't like the way my cakes looked, so I bought one of these. And this is a little kitchen scale. Actually, I got the idea from my daughter Lindsay and her husband Jeremy are excellent cooks, and Jeremy's actually a pretty good baker. And so we were talking one day about measuring, and Jeremy said, you really need to get yourself a kitchen scale. So he researches everything in the world before he buys it. He researches it, extremely well. And so I called him and I said, Jeremy, what do I go get? He told me to go buy this, and I've had it now for several years. It was a great little tool for the kitchen. And really, I mainly use it for putting batter in pans. So why is that necessary? Because if they each weigh the same thing, then that means they have the same portions and they're going to cook evenly, and it's going to have a great presentation when it's done. So I have prepared these pans. I put Crisco. This is my method. This is what works for me. I have already put Crisco all over these pans. Then I put all-purpose flour, shook it all around, beat it off, and so both of these are now prepared to go in the oven. Okay, I'm going to tear out the weight of these pans. It's not that difficult. So you just put it on the scale. Okay, so the pan, they're saying the pan is 17.4 ounces. Tear that out. Now it's to 0. All right. So I'm going to eyeball this, thinking I'm half the batter in here. So let's see. It's up to, I'm going to say, I probably put too much in here, but I'll fix it. Okay, so this is now 19.2 ounces. So I'm going to simply put this aside and bring over pan number 2. So again, I'm going to put it back to the unit that I want, which is going to be ounces, because as I said, that's what makes sense to me. Okay, so I'm putting this one down. Have it back, set the tare, have it to ounces. Let's see. The other one was 19.2. Let's see what this one turns out to be. I told you I was afraid I had put too much batter in here in the first pan, and unfortunately I was right. because now this one is 17.1. So here's how I'm going to fix that. It's not difficult. Just going to scoop some batter out, put it over here until I bring it up. Okay, so now this one is 18. Let's see, put a little bit more. Now this is 18.2. So this is 18.2. So now I'm just going to compare the two and see what I have as far as weight. Yes, they are. So this is good. I am now going to get ready to put them in the oven. I'm going to make sure the batter is equally distributed. So that's good. Because these are dark coated pans, the temperature that you cook them on is 325, and the amount of time is going to be about 26 minutes. So I'm going to put them in the oven now, and then we will, you'll see the process when I take them out. So here I'm going in the oven. Center rack. Okay, so the timer will be set for 26 minutes, and as soon as they come out, I will show you what they look like. Okay, so now I have put the cakes in the oven, and they're cooking, and while the cake's cooking, I'm going to add the Cool Whip to the mixture that I prepared earlier that's now very chilled, and that is the crushed pineapple with the small package of vanilla pudding mix. And so I purchased the extra creamy Cool Whip. I just felt like that extra creamy would be best with this particular frosting recipe. So I'm going to now fold this in. It's been in the refrigerator. It thawed in the refrigerator. So I'm just simply going to take this and fold this in to this mixture. Okay, so when you're folding stuff in, you want to do it gently, but you want everything to still be well integrated. So the pudding at the bottom is kind of firm, and that is a good thing. That's the way I wanted it to be. And I'm folding in the Cool Whip. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of patience. Make sure you're scraping it off the bottom. You want it all well integrated. And the other essential thing when frosting this cake is that you want everything to be cooled completely. The cake cannot be the slightest bit warm. If it is the slightest bit warm, you know what's going to happen to this Cool Whip. It's going to immediately start to run. So there are many different steps to this. They're not difficult steps, but they're just steps that you can't skip. If you skip them, you're going to not end up with the finished product that you want. So I think this is good. I like the way this looks. This is good. This is real good. Okay, so I am going to slip this back into the refrigerator. I'm going to let my cake come out of the oven and cool. And then I will pull this out, I will stir it a couple more times, and then I will ice it. Okay, so the cakes are ready. Going to take them out. There's one. There's two. Okay, this is where I always get nervous. onions, but it doesn't matter, it's just a cake. Okay. Just one. 2. So now what I'm going to do is just let them cool completely. As you can see, the steam is just rising off the top of them, but I'm going to let them cool completely. We have an appointment this afternoon, business appointment, and so when we get back, they will be completely cooled, and then I will ice them and put it together. Okay? See you in a little bit. Okay, so we're back. I have taken the icing out of the refrigerator, and it's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I just fluffed it up a little bit, and I needed some room, so I put one of the cakes over here on the plate already. So I'm just going to simply frost this side, this bottom piece. Add a little bit more. And they're perfectly cool, so the icing is not melting. The icing is going to stay intact the whole time. It's going to be awesome. I'm a little bit stingy on the icing in the middle because I don't know how much I'm going to need on the sides and the edges, and so sometimes I'm a little stingy on the middle, but I think that's good. So now we're going to come and we're going to put perfect. Perfect. This is going to be beautiful. It really is. And it's going to taste so good. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands real fast. Slide it to the center of the dish. Move this out of the way. And this icing, if you'll follow these simple steps that I gave you, it's not the way anyone else will tell you how to do it. But if you want it to turn out to look nice, stay on the cake, this is really the way it needs to be done. Start off with your icing first. Do the steps I told you about. And then just come in. This is going to taste good. It's going to be beautiful. This is great to carry to any covered dish. In the summertime, you really do need to keep it refrigerated until it's time to eat. In the winter, carrying it to a covered dish, you don't have to be so worried about it, I guess, because you don't have the heat. You don't have the heat that you have to deal with. So, okay, I'm coming along here. This does not take a lot of effort to put this icing on this cake. I am not a professional cake decorator. That is for sure. But with this cake, you don't have to be a professional. There is nothing about this that requires you to be a professional. You just slop it on there. That doesn't sound very nice, does it? Okay, I am finished. This is my pig picking cake right here. It's easy and delicious. So there it is.